You know, we're not their fans. We have fun, but you know, when we come on the grass, it's all about the business.
All right, and you said, you know, you're not their fans, but when it comes to recognizing something like a good play, what else are you doing or just saying that's more than just simply saying, you know, hey, good job?
Yeah, so right now we're having like a next level competition in our cornerback room. So any plays that kind of stand out at practice, I'll hand them a next level card, you know, and whoever collects the most next level, we have like a little competition going on within that room. So towards the end of the spring, we'll tally up who made the most plays, like in a live setting. It's basically, you know, how you're felt out on the field. You know, obviously a lot of stuff can be next level when we watch, you know, the film, but just having presence, you know, having like style points out here, just kind of getting these guys to kind of play with swagger and just stay competitive.
All right, last one. It's well known that you're an architect of the Texas Tempe pipeline. You don't need me to tell you that, obviously. You recruited three different Texas programs prior to here. How did that experience just help you get people from the state of Texas?
Tremendous. I mean, I was able to kind of build a lot of relationships, establish a strong network, you know, in my home from where I'm from. You know, so over the course of years, just understanding the mecca of what college football is in the state of Texas, the history, the culture, you know, the pedigree of those players, us playing in the Big 12 was my hope in arriving to Arizona State, even though we were still Pac-12, is, hey, either we're going to establish an immense pipeline in Texas and continue bringing talent from Texas, or we're going to lose to a team in the Big 12 that does exactly that. So nowadays, in the way the world is now, you got to have a national brand. You got to have pockets of talent pools that you can pull from, whether it's Southern California, whether it's Las Vegas, whether it's Texas. You know, if you build it, they will come. Now we have a lot of players from Texas to where we don't even have to promote it or market it. Every coach on our roster, especially starting next year when we get a quarterback from Texas, everybody on our roster, every coach will have a living testimony from the state of Texas in that room. What better marketing tool than that, than get kids on campus, and it's a bunch of players from Texas that may or not be familiar with the high schools, the regions that they grew up with. Some guys transfer from schools from Texas. It's just a kind of a, you know, melting pot, and guys are kind of familiar with, you know, what the standard is in Texas, and it translates to the practice field. It's kind of infectious. Everybody else feeds off of it.
All right, thanks, Coach.
For sure.
How's it going, Coach? So for you, obviously you mentioned the next level cards and being able to kind of get these guys to test each other, put each other in that kind of way.
Yeah.
What do you make of how the hunger has been since coming back? Obviously you have so many guys that played a tremendous role in the Big 12 championship run. How does that kind of continue to go for you guys now?
Yeah, I mean, you got to stay hungry. Last year is last year. We can't, you know, just hang our hat on what we did last year. You know, we want to build a championship contending culture every year. We want to build a college playoff contending roster. So we got to continue to up the stakes. We got to raise the standards. You know, so a lot of guys on this roster want to get back to that 4th and 13 and convert. Otherwise, you know, if that's not the goal for everybody on this team, then what are we doing? We do off-season conditioning, winter workouts. We go on the road recruiting. There's a lot of grueling stuff a part of this football journey. All of that to go to the Michelin Tire Bowl, the Bahamas Bowl. No, we want to play in the big-time championship bowl games. We want to put 3X large T-shirts over our shoulder pads. We want to make confetti angels. We want to go back to the pinnacle. We want to build it right here at, you know, in Tempe. You know, what better place to build it? So guys are hungrier than ever. We got a chance to continue to stock the pond with the portal open and what we've done this offseason to acquire more talent. But you know, the goal is to continue stocking the pond. The goal is to make this one of the most talented rosters in the Big 12.
So with that in mind, like you mentioned the roster additions, you added a couple guys, the Purdue transfers, some experienced guys as well, and especially after having Keith and Javen, who played a lot of snaps last year. What was the biggest mindset in recruiting those guys in particular? And
the biggest mindset, we had 2 guys on our roster last year in the cornerback room and the safety room that are no longer here. We got some young guys in that room. We wanted to bring in a veteran presence, and kind of the buddy system in the portal kind of worked for us. You know, I know a guy who knows a guy who happens to know guys. So to get Bree Love and Nyland Green from Purdue, those are tremendous kids that came in with rave reviews as far as the human beings that they are. They were able to come in and absorb our culture. I think those guys will be able to step right in and help us.
So what does that mean for you? Especially, I mean, Nyland, you mentioned the kind of person he is. When I was just talking to him, he was smiling ear to ear the entire time. What do you make of his individual impact so far and kind of being able to make a namesake for himself in the room?
Nyland has unbelievable length. I mean, he's a scheme fit for what we want in a boundary corner. You know, we got 4 more practices to kind of pour into him. You know, he was sidelined with an injury, so kind of missed a little time. You know, but this is a guy that comes in with a wealth of experience, has played at Georgia and played at Purdue, so this is a guy that's no stranger to how a college football program operates. So to get a guy in the room in which I would have had a senior had he still been on our roster now was crucial to us kind of balancing that room. So to get a guy in like Nyland Green, to get a guy like Breedlove, and the departure of a guy like Shamari Simmons, it just makes sense for us as a program.
For you, seeing a bunch of the younger guys as well in your group kind of step up a little bit as well. Obviously, Rodney's been a guy that's been raved about all spring, but Tony as well and some other players that have been able to kind of make a namesake for themselves in the position group. What do you make about their progressions this offseason and kind of where they might be able to fit into the squad?
Yeah, it's tremendous. You know, we've kind of given we kind of taken care of our veterans on our team, which has given us an opportunity to get a lot of reps towards these young guys, and they're benefiting from it. You know, a lot of times, a lot of guys just need to play football to kind of get better. You know, with us bringing back 17 or 18 starters from last year, it's really giving us an opportunity to get the veteran guys their reps, but we're able to kind of keep tread on their tires and kind of invest and pour into some of the youth of our team, because that's the future of our program.
And then with the spring portal opening up, obviously a couple guys from the program are entering the portals from ASU. And when your team has obviously had a lot of success retaining so many players, is there any difficulties or hard conversations that you've had to have in particular about like guys maybe having the role they want currently or anything like that?
Yeah, I think transparency and honesty is important in this process. Coach Dillingham is doing a great job as far as being transparent, being honest with where college football, our hand is kind of forced with where these roster numbers are going. So it's going to be bad news for some guys, it's going to be good news for some other guys, but that's just the climate of where college football is. Once again, it's not our decision. It's just something that we, you know, the hard part about the playing in college football is the business aspect of it. So the business aspect of it is going to cost a lot of people across the country to trim their rosters. You know, so we would rather be transparent on the front end than get guys to the point of no return, and then they're kind of stuck in purgatory. So it's unfortunate. You know, I wish college football would allow it, but at the end of the day, it comes down to business, and we just have to, you know, move accordingly. So that's our process, is to just be transparent, be forthcoming, be open and honest, to give guys an opportunity if we don't see them playing on this roster to go on the portal and see what's out there for you.
Makes sense. Thank you, Coach.